and about 4 recruits. I told him he needs to get to 10 by 10,000. I'm telling everyone that in their first 2 weeks. They don't know any better. And you'll be doing a disservice to them by cutting them short. And finally, master your system and mechanics. And when it comes to systems and mechanics, guys, there's nobody better than who you're about to hear. I mean, a mastermind genius. She's going to show you some of the things she's done with Telegram and other things. I mean, Lord have mercy, Shondell Dobie is a wizard with systems, and there's not $1 million earner alive. There's no SNSD, NSD alive in this company that got to where they are that didn't have a system. If you don't have a system, it's guaranteed they will either slip through the cracks or be delayed in the process. Thanks for letting me share, guys.
Awesome. Dude, that was amazing, guys. I hope you took pictures, snapshots. Self-improvement is key in everything. And if you don't feel that you're going to self-improve on your own, have an accountability partner. When we made that decision to read a book a week, it was easy for us to do it. If we did it on our own, I probably would have failed. But when we did it together and I was like, oh, damn, he's about to finish, I got to make sure I stay on it. You have competition. I'm all about competition. And competition is also accountability as well. So find a partner, self-improve together, listen to an audio, have a partner and say, oh, hey, I listened to this. What did you get out of it? And that'll help you continue to stay on the self-improvement. So everything in this business is all about duplications and systems, right? Duplications and systems. So you always want to make sure that you have systems in place, right? So we're going to start with field training. Field training is not entertainment for your new recruits. You guys have to make sure with your new trainees that you let them know they need to be paying attention. The reason why you're doing those field training appointments, yes, is to bring in potential premium, but it's so you can duplicate yourself into them, right? You need new independent producers. So let them know they need to be taking notes. They need to have a notebook, a tablet, whatever that they're taking notes on, and making sure they're paying attention, right? So a tip, how am I making sure that my new recruits are paying attention during the presentation is keep them engaged, right? Just as much as you keep the client engaged throughout the presentation, you want to make sure that you're keeping the new recruit engaged. So if they've seen the presentation once or even twice, you can ask, oh, hey, Josh, what's financial independence number again, right? Get them on their toes. Ask them something that they should know. Oh, hey, Josh, what's our mission? Can you say that to the client? Because now if you're testing them at random parts throughout the presentation, they better be paying attention because they don't want to fumble when they're on the training appointment, right? So you want to keep them engaged. We do a drill for skill every Sunday night. It's not super complex. We pick one little point out of the presentation that we go over, and it's not, before we used to just do it for people that are licensed. We're doing it for everybody now. We need to duplicate as quickly as possible. So we let everybody get on the team, and we just pick a system, a topic, whether it's banks, fridges, theory of decreasing responsibility, compound interest, any of those topics, and you just drill on it. Each person, hey, Josh, all right, go through this. Hey, Mike, go through this. Hey, Morgan, go through this. And practice, help them, correct them. Then you have people on the chat, they're like, oh, I'm like, vote who goes next. And then people are posting who goes next. You got to make it fun for people, right? And then people clap for everybody. People say, awesome, great job, right? And you just help people progress and want to learn the presentation. And then obviously you got to tell them why. Why are you learning this? Because if you can close the sale, if you can explain these differences, you can make money. Then you want to make everything simple for your teammates. Dummy proof. You think about that example that Josh said about having the baby go to school or daycare on its own, right? Your new recruits don't know anything, literally nothing. Some of us have been here for months, years, whatever the case may be. So it's normal to us, but our new recruits know nothing. They don't know where anything is. They don't know the presentation. They don't know audios. They don't know anything. So you have to make everything simple and dummy proof. And so I've been working on a system, which I'm going to share with you guys. Easy access tools. So we have Google Drive. So Shaq has the standard hierarchy. It has all of the trainings, PowerPoints. Make sure your recruits know about that. Then we have Telegram. Telegram is amazing. I don't think you guys know how much You can be utilizing Telegram. If you're not utilizing Telegram, keeping your people plugged in and engaged, you're missing out. And then YouTube, all of these trainings that we have, make sure that you guys are keeping them, the ones that you think are good for your team, whatever your team is lacking on or may need help with, or if you know that it was very instructional or technical on A, B, C, D, how to get through different situations, bookmark, save those YouTube videos so you can send them out to people on your team. Like, people ask questions all the time. When you're duplicating, new teammates that want to get ahead, they're always asking, what do I do? How do I do it? How do I get to the next step? If you have the YouTube, utilize that, guys, right? There's certain people, like, I'm not the best in every aspect, but there's certain people like Jen and Shay, great on referrals, right? Production, right? I think a couple weeks ago, Josh and Shay talked about producing, writing personal premium. If you're not good in an area, utilize the YouTube. People are training on these things and you can send that to your recruits. So let's talk about field training first. So with field training, from start to finish, this is our process, and we've started implementing this recently, and I think it's really been helping out our teammates. So when a new recruit starts, from the beginning, they know that they have to do 10 training QAs, 10 training appointments right in the follow-up meeting. When we go through the process of the follow-up after the webinar, we're letting them know, hey, you're gonna have to go on 10 training appointments. It's gonna be with these types of people. So they already have an idea that that is going to happen, and you have to let them know. Then you wanna, so what we've been doing, you guys can do this. I advise you to do this because I got tired of kind of going over the presentation myself over and over and over again. So I just recorded myself. Me and Mike took tons of time out of our days when we were doing Drill for Skill in the past and just recorded ourselves doing the presentation. If you want your recruits to learn your presentation and how you do it, because everybody has a slightly different way of doing it, record yourself. Take the time to do that. So now when our new recruit comes in, we send them videos of the slides. They have our face, they have our words, they have the slides, they know the transitions. So before we even do the first appointment, they're seeing the slides from the beginning all the way to the red house in the presentation. And now they know what's gonna be said, how it's gonna be said. Maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable because sometimes new recruits don't know what's gonna happen on the appointment. But you send them that, and then from there, they can start listening and practicing, and they know that that resource is available for them. So that is right before the first appointment. Now, when we do the appointment, you want to quiz your recruits immediately, right? What did you learn? Josh, what was new that you learned today? Maybe you haven't seen this before, or they didn't see something, or a new topic came up. Ask them every single time, what did you learn? Right? And then have them repeat it back to you. If it's a new topic, did that make sense? Answer their questions about it. Then, what questions did I ask? It's very important. Your presentation is not just statements. Statements push people away. You have to ask questions to keep people engaged. And that is literally the most important part of the presentation, asking great questions. So you want to let recruits know what questions we're asking and what questions also did the client ask. What questions are they asking throughout the presentation? And then how did I answer them? What did I say? Right? Hey, Josh, they asked about cash value and term. Well, term ends. Okay, well, what did I respond? How did I answer that? Right? And then progressively start to ask more in-depth questions about specific slides, right? Teach them the psychology, right? So at the initial part, you're just trying to get them to learn the words and understand what you're saying and the transitions in between. But then you want to start asking specifics. Okay, what did I say exactly on the compound interest slide? Why did I ask that question? What's the psychology? What was the reason? Oh, well, we need to find out if they're wasting money. Exactly. So you want to go through those things with them so they know how important the slide is. It's not just the words, right? And it's not also just the words, it's how you're saying it as well, right? So you got to coach them on that. And then all of the green lights, if you want your recruit to close and understand how to close and get to that process, they got to know the important slides, the ones where they need to get certain answers or specific answers to know that they're going to move forward. And then get them to the red house as soon as possible. All the slides in the presentation, if you guys know what I'm talking about, you should. All the slides up to that red house where it has income protection, retirement, college, and debt, all of that in the house. they should be able to get to that point very, very quickly. All that information is pretty much just information for the client. So they should be able to learn that stuff. And I think something that's really cool, because we're utilizing Zoom, is I've been noticing my trainees have their notes. It's fine. The client doesn't know that they have their notes. So they have their notes up. They feel a little more confident. They're not in person. So doing these appointments on Zoom are giving new trainees more confidence in moving forward with learning the presentation. And then now, obviously, I've realized they're using their notes. So now I'm like, okay, hey, no notes today. No notes today. Try to do this from memory. And then it pushes people. Then after the house, then I start guiding them through the 4 quadrants. Sometimes new recruits may not have the understanding yet of which 4 quadrants to go through. So I'll guide them. I'll say, okay, great. Well, we're going to start with providing a little education on group. All right, Morgan, can you go through the group slides? Then if they have private insurance or they don't, and we need to explain term, okay, great, Morgan, can you go through cash value and A and B? So then you guide them through the process. So eventually they'll start to learn which slides and which buttons that they need to go to until they eventually get to the close. Now, once they're licensed, that's when you can show them how to quote. Unfortunately, before that, they're not able to use the app and quote and look at all of that yet. But once they're licensed, man, show them how to quote. If they know how to quote, they just passed their test, they want to go see people, they want to write business. Show them how to quote and then show them their compensation. Right after they quote, you can show them the agent notes and it'll show them how much they'll get paid. That'll incentivize people. Like, for example, we have Kim, she's on it. She's trying to quote people. She's trying to close apps. She wants to make money. Then help them understand how to collect the Life app. Once they're licensed, any Life apps that you're doing, you want to have them go through that process so they can learn and understand that. Also teach about underwriting, different things like height and weight, the medical questions, what should be COD or not, making sure that you're asking all of the medical questions properly. You understand, they understand that, right? Talk a little bit maybe about QBI, why we collect applications a certain way so they understand, right? Because this is trial and error, guys. We have people learning and then they collect an app and then it's like, oh shoot, we forgot to tell them about this. We forgot to tell them about that. And then you learn and then you start implementing these steps. Now, but once you have your system in place, then now you can just literally continue to hire, go through the numbers like Josh was talking about, those mechanisms, 1, 4, 5, 4, 10, and then 240, and you're just bringing in the raw material and running them through your system. But if you don't have a system from start to finish with your new recruit, how are you going to produce independent people, right? And that's what we started to realize. So we've really been stressing this stuff with our new teammates so we can continue to duplicate ourselves. So this next topic is kind of our secret weapon right now. So hopefully you guys are taking notes. I'm not going to say all the how-tos. It took me time to implement this stuff for people. But I'm going to go through the points really fast, and then I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly how some of these things look on Telegram. So you have to utilize Telegram. Like I was telling you before, we have a system. Right from day one, the new recruit knows that they need to have the Primerica app to get their $50 banked, but they also need to download Telegram right away. I let them know that Telegram is going to be our main form of communication, and you need to set a profile picture. You need to set your username so people know who you are, so we'll recognize you. Get all of that stuff taken care of right away. Then next, we get them on a team chat. So I do this personally. I'll show you some examples. If I recruit somebody for Morgan, Morgan is going to be a new field trainer. She's going to be a new independent producer. I want her to see exactly the conversations I'm having with the new recruit that we just got for her. Like, for example, we just recruited this sharp girl, Tiffany, right? So then I create a chat with Morgan and Tiffany, and I'm going through everything that I go through with a new recruit, but Morgan is also on that chat. So she's watching everything I'm doing, everything I'm saying, how I'm following up with the new recruit, so she can start learning that process. And then eventually Morgan can now start doing that with her teammates and her downlines. So then I no longer have to be there, right? So you want to put them on a team chat. And then also you have group chats, right? Shaq has people subscribe to the standard, so they're getting those announcements. We have our FFX team chat for activity. Then we have a separate team chat for the new people that are going for their field training bonus, usually all of the unlicensed people. T and Shay talked about that a couple weeks back, and we've implemented that too. And I feel that it is beneficial for all of the new people, right? Different information is on different chats. And sometimes people are like, oh my God, the chat's going off all the time. Hey, I'd rather the chat go off all the time because it keeps people engaged, right? And the right people, you always got to remember the 20-80 rule, right? 20% of people are going to like it. They're going to love it. They're going to be like, wow, I got to be competitive. Oh my gosh, somebody's kicking my butt. Somebody got to recruit. The right people will respond. The other people, whatever. If they don't check it, if they're not up to date, fine. But you got to do it for the people that you know are going to win, right? Then I create folders. I'm going to show you guys what that means. There's an option on Telegram to create folders for your chats. So for us, we have tons of people on Telegram. We have tons of different chats, tons of different groups. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got to keep myself in order. So with that, I'm going to show you guys that. And then have organized broadcast. So just like how Shaq has the standard broadcast, you can create your own broadcast and put certain people on it. They can't respond back or post messages on it. You control what you put on it. So on those broadcasts, we have different categories of things that we're going to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull up my screen here and share that information with you guys so you can kind of see that. Yeah, if anybody has questions, start preparing them now so we can answer them. All right, guys. So let me pull up Telegram. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see this well. We have at the top, if you look at the top of the screen here, it has all unread, personal, teams, group chats, and resources. So that's what I mean by organizing it. So there's an option, if you go to settings, there's folders. You can create your own folders and groups and rules for each folder. So here, these are my unread messages, just personal one-on-one messages with people. Then teams, remember I told you I had teams of people? These are the teams that I have. Then group chats, all of the group chats that we're a part of, and then resources. So I think this is where your money is going to be made, guys, with Telegram. Keep yourself organized. This is a system, right? So anything that I feel is important that I do or I utilize, I've created a group, a broadcast for those specific details. So you'll see here, there's licensing, there's training and meetings, there's prospecting, life app information or IBA details that are needed, becoming independent, the Vivint stuff, there's getting referrals, text messages that I send out, webinars, field training, bonus, and working with new trainees. I'll show you guys some examples in a second. Articles, videos, third-party closes, higher authority, contest incentives, people competing for the contest, acuities or scheduling, and then monthly goals and results. And then if people need to change their POL to put it to limited, I have all of those things. So like, give you an example, like my favorite group is the field training bonus group for trainees. So when we do our orientations, we're not physical with the person, so we don't have packets that we can give them, right? So here I have everything that we need to go through with a new recruit during their orientation. So now when I start their orientation and they're on the thread, I just forward these messages to them. And who's on the broadcast? The trainers, the people that are recruiting people. Not everybody, just the people that we're starting to duplicate into. So now they have everything that they need to send to their new recruits, right? And it's all just in a thread for them to go through, right? Everything that a new trainee may need or want. If I think about something different, I'm like, oh shoot, I need to add that there. That's something that can be used, right? All of that information is there. So now your other trainers, your other people that you're utilizing, they can have these resources available, right? Like I was saying earlier, you got to make things easy for people. The webinars, we've been adding new systems all the time. So I have the schedules, the links, everything that people need to access. So if they need to send something out, our group chat goes off all the time, and we post when we have webinars, the orientation, everything. So all of this is here for people to just access if they need to. The text messages, all of the text messages that I've ever thought of that we utilize, it's there, guys. Articles, third party, right? Any third party things that I get that I think is helpful for people, it's on a broadcast. People can access it, right? So take time, guys. Systems are very, very important. And the more systems that you have, the more that you can duplicate yourself, because I have a lot of information in my mind, but I got to remember that other people need that information. So take time. And
what does Bruce say about people that can't take time for their business?
Yeah, so Bruce very rarely says the word never, very rarely. So he said, number one, you will never, ever, ever be a regional vice president if you don't become an advocate. Never, never, never seen one in his entire career here. But number two, he also says you will never, ever, ever be successful and probably become a vice president if you don't invest time into your business. If you can't put time into your business, how can you expect to be successful? You want people to show up, come to training, all of this, you got to invest time. And so I take time out to create these systems and make things simple for my recruits, simple for my team, so they can have confidence and know that they have these resources and tools available to get on track. So hopefully that was helpful, guys. I don't see any questions. Any questions that anybody has about anything? Put them in the chat.
Put them in the chat. And disclaimer for that system that Shondell has, this is like me protecting my leader. Nobody reach out to her unless they're on Freedom Force on how to do what she just did. It's very easy. I'm not a tech guy. I figured out how to make folders myself on Telegram. Take the time to figure it out. Business men and women are resourceful. That's why they're successful in business.
Awesome. I don't see any questions. Any questions? Thank you, Marilyn. All right, I'll give you guys like 2 minutes. If you have any questions.
Shondell, Marilyn asked a question.
Where? Oh, okay, I see now. So with the pandemic, what is your main way of recruiting? Okay, so I'll answer and then I'll let Josh answer as well. So for me, I have been still doing Steam calls. I call resumes still. A lot of people are looking for work. A lot of people have gotten laid off. A lot of people are looking for opportunities that are safe, work from home, even if it's not their career path, they're open to it. I still, obviously, when you're recruiting, you're utilizing a new recruit's warm market and you're going through that, those people with them. Then we are utilizing a little bit of LinkedIn. And then I think Josh is doing a couple other things maybe on social media as well. So go ahead, Josh.
Yo, Kevin. I see Kevin Menjivar's on here. I know you hit me up earlier this week. Well, I wanna hear a question from you if you have any. But to answer, Marilyn, I am, there was Shaq did a class called he said Ian Pruckner's 1,000 name list concept. And I actually got a hold of that like 2 years ago. So what I did was I got a Padfolio and I started with all of the names in my phone and I wrote down every single name and number. Then every single day I focused on getting 5 to 10 new prospects a day. Usually those were in person, some were over social media, and I just added. But I have 3,000 of them now. So I'm really calling all of those over the last 2 years, but I'm also leveraging Sean and Morganar and Lilix, social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, just blast people's direct messages. Just blast them. We have the best opportunity there is, and I mean, people need us more than ever right now. So that's how I'm doing it.
Awesome.
Kevin, can you hear me? Oh, Kevin left. That's funny. All right.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you getting on, and definitely go out and kill it this week.